Hello, and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and season fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And it's time today to wrap up book club for Shine. We did it.
We did it. It's our last episode. We made it you know what? I'm proud of us. We made a plan. It was ambitious. We stuck to it. And I thought it was fun. I was a little worried at a certain point. I was like, are we even going to have enough substance out of this book to pull a full month's worth of content out of it? And I think we did a good job.
I think we did too. And I was very happy with, like lots of people did. It seemed like there wasn't going to be substance, but there was. People had things to say. There was a lot to discuss. The tea that we didn't see at the surface was found with digging. Like, we got somewhere.
Yeah. I think we were able to, although on first glance, this book was, might seem like just fluff. There really is, like, if you dig between the lines, like, we did find quite a few little nuggets to discuss and turn over in our little paws.
For sure. But our final activity for book club was the one I was looking forward to the most because, as I've said in all of these episodes, I just want to see the movie of this dang thing. Like, Let's just get to the movie part. So we wanted to cast a movie, and we were luckily joined by our lovely friend Natalie Morin and new friend Alexis Odoyan, both K-pop writers, and we took this casting very seriously, and I think we came up with something good.
Yes, there were some curveballs thrown in there, and I am so proud. I think we did a great job. Together, the four of us are a stellar executive team, and we need to get a studio to hire us as producers ASAP.
Absolutely. All right. Well, also check the episode description as there is a visual component to go along with this episode. So check for that PowerPoint presentation in the description. Click that and we'll take it away. All right, welcome to the final installment of Shine Book Club. We finally made it to the most exciting episode. So of course we have to have exciting guests. And I'm so excited to welcome. We have two spectacular guests today. And first, please welcome to the show K-pop writer Alexis Odoyan. Woo! Hi, Alexis. Say hello to the listeners.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexis Odoyan. I read about K-pop. I'm really excited to be here. Really enjoyed the book, so looking forward to this chat.
Yes. Fantastic.
Thank you for being here.
Yay!
And our other guest is a dear friend whose face I miss so very much, and I'm so excited to see it. You know her as the entertainment writer at Refinery 29. Please welcome Natalie Morin.
Woo!
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. I'm a friend of the pod, so now to be actually on the pod is an honor, a privilege, a dream.
Yeah, longtime friend, first time guest.
Very exciting. So exciting. So before we get into our fun exercise of casting this imaginary Shine movie in our minds, we want to ask you guys all the questions we've been asking all of our guests, which is, first off, how did you enjoy reading Shine? Did both of you guys get early copies as well?
Yeah, I did. I requested it. I wanted to know. I was really excited. I was like, I need to see what tea she's spilling. Was I disappointed? A little bit, but there was still good stuff in there if you know what went on.
You got to dig for it.
Yeah, what was your general impression, Alexis?
I mean, you know what? For what it is, I liked it. I'm not super into young adult books, but I watch K-dramas, so it wasn't that different from that. And, honestly, to me, as I was reading it and after reading it, I thought okay, maybe I'm not, obviously I aged out of this book, but I thought it was really interesting how, even if it wasn't Jessica, if it was the ghostwriter, whoever wrote the book, whoever wrote this book, I thought that the discussions about, you know, like gender roles and you know, like how women and men are treated differently and favored and everything else. I don't think anyone is having those conversations on the idol level. So if Jessica wants to write a book and say it's fiction, I'll take it. You know, we know it's not, but so I liked it. I think it was pretty cool that she, you know, she's writing about this stuff and she put her name in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. Those were like the highlights that I didn't think we were going to get. What about you, Natalie? How did you like the book?
I liked it.
Did you get an advanced copy?
I did get an advanced copy. And I read it a little bit later. And kind of after Jessica had done the tour, the book tour, the interviews about it, but I purposefully did not pay too much attention because I kind of wanted to go into the book without any preconceived notions of what I was going to get into. Spoiler free. I do not like spoilers, so I enjoyed it. I do read YA novels. I read a lot of romance novels because I watch a lot of serious stuff for work, like a lot of TV and whatnot, and books and specifically K-dramas. I specifically am there for love triangles, just to get lost in the sap. And so
Snaps to that.
Yeah, for those reasons, I was into it. And some things I found very ridiculous, and there were some places I wasn't satisfied and didn't like a lot of the characters, but it was fun, especially since there are really not that many books about this type of thing. I've read sort of kind of books that were in the same kind of genre a little bit, like a K-pop star meets person, fall in love, like those kind of exist, but none from the perspective of somebody actually from the inside the industry. And the whole time, like, I expected, like, as writers, like, you write from experience, so I agree. Like, I think so much of this is true. I think that so much of this is true. A lot of it is exaggerated, but I think, like, all of the feelings, all of the central conflicts, I think are very much real. The one thing is I did not know that it was a series. So at the end, I was shocked and furious. I was like, this is how it ends? I was like, this doesn't count. I was like looking to see if like I was missing a page. And then I saw that it was going to be a thing, so I felt better. But still, it was just thrown off of the cliff there at the end.
And they also like set up a lot of like shady stuff at the end. Like when Mr. No announces the new group, like Jason is like kikiing with Mina's like dad in the back, and then they go out a side door, and it's like
they're setting up like
so much
Mina's
drama.
dad like forces Rachel's dad to be his employee. Like that gets really weird. And like, yeah, yes. I also didn't know that there was going to be I didn't know there was going to be a sequel. And so I was like, first I was just really bummed that like, oh, the Mina, like she ended up being mean again. I was like, I thought we fixed this. And then like, yeah, all this stuff happened and she like steps out into the spotlight and I was like, what? How can we?
Yeah, and then she was like, and then I shined. And then
yeah,
I was
right?
like, no!
It's my turn to shine.
No.
When I finished reading it, like, I texted Tamar because we were reading. I think she read it before me, but I texted her and I was like, "There's definitely gonna be like a second part." And she had already had her interview with her, so she was like, "Oh yeah, it is gonna be a series." I'm like, "There's no fucking way that this book can end just like with all of this open-ended stuff."
But similar to you, Alexis, I did like the conversations about gender roles and privilege within the industry, and I also really liked the little added je ne sais quoi of cultural identity and foreign idols having issues, especially foreign idols who are half white or whatnot. It's something I think about, and I so wish I could ask some people in the industry about their questions that have always been on my mind. These kind of more identity, like cultural conflicts, gender, like inner conflicts. Like that's the shit I really love. And those are the questions I really love to answer, or the questions I really love to ask. And so yeah, that stuff to me I thought was really cool that she touched on it. So hopefully it continues on in the series.
One thing that I really loved, but that's just like the messy in me, was how the book opens. Like, there was just shot after shot after shot fired, and I was like, oh my God, who is Mina? Who is this? Who is that? Oh my God, who is Mr. O? And it was just like, it was set up to just be the messiest of books. And then it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like, no, I live for this, because she's like making the reader be intrigued and get hooked. And then it's like, nah, I'm just going to be like, oh my God, maybe I like this boy and I'm going to throw my life away for him.
For sure, because the third chapter ends with her being drugged by her teammates, and the book never catches back up to that ever again.
I lost my mind at that point. It's not like, it's made to seem like, oh, that's just a really mean thing that she did. And I'm like, that is illegal. That is horrifying. She needs to tell an adult. This is not a pride issue. She's not like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna keep that to myself. No, you go and you rat on that girl. Mm-hmm. You go. That is so
immediately
messed up. Oh my God. And she's not
but
like,
she had power. She couldn't.
I don't know. I felt the same way, Natalie. I put that book down and I was like, I felt like I was watching Riverdale. I was like, where are the adults? Like, this is unacceptable.
Go to the police.
Right? Like, this was illegal. This was illegal. And then the fact that she had that like video of her, which is a blackmail that could tank her career instantly, no question. I didn't believe that Mina wouldn't have used it. Like, I just felt like she was set up to be so ruthless. Like, why would she keep that to herself? Especially if she thinks that she hurt her ankle on purpose. Like, why wouldn't you just send that straight to Mr. or whatever? But I don't know. It was just
I kept waiting for it
over.
to happen. I kept
waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, and Rachel is like, oh man, look, she's got a redemption arc. And Mina's like, yeah, but it's so easy compared to me. And Rachel's never like, yo, you drugged me though. Like, yes, like you think that I broke your shoe, but you committed this crime. Yeah. Like, that was the moment where I was like, oh, like this is that. Yeah, that is just, it's just so bad. I just can't. I won't ever get over it.
Yeah, that was really shocking because it just went from like 0 to 100 and then never reached that peak again. But Alexis, you were bringing up at the beginning, like in that first scene where everyone's just being like so insanely mean, and it immediately made you start thinking of like who is who. So question for both of you, who came to mind as like, I think this character is definitely this real life person?
Ooh. Is this where we get canceled?
We went over many theories last week, so no. I'm saying last week we threw many names into the ring, and we discussed the pros and cons of why they might be that person. So we've done it first,
given our hot takes,
but whatever.
Well, I don't know that much about like Girls' Generations, like inner workings and their relationships. Like I don't know a lot of that, so when I was trying to figure out who was who, like I think I basically just gravitated towards the fact that she came from like a powerful background or whatever. So I was like, oh well, there's Sunny because she was, isn't she like Isuman?
She's Lee Soo-man's niece.
Yeah. So I was like, there's that, and then isn't Soo Young like really rich?
Yeah, so she's like an heiress, I think.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, just based on that, I don't know who she had beef with. I have no idea. I'm just basing
Well,
it
we
on that.
discussed last week that her and Soo Young publicly like would snipe at each other on variety shows. There was like possible beef.
Okay.
But I like, and Angelica said last week, and I agreed that like she thinks Jessica just hates all of them so much that Mina is like a megazord of all of them because she just like has no warm feelings left towards them at all.
I just felt a lot of bitterness in like little moments throughout the book that just made me think like she hates them all. Like she.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that came through. Like I was like,
Yeah.
really, you don't have no, like how she was describing the debut and like the first. Well, I mean, it wasn't their first interview, but just like I'm like, really, you don't have any like warm memory.
Oh my God.
Oh, when she said how great it was, like, oh, 9 girls to have your nails or something.
To do your
Yeah,
nails.
out loud
Oh,
was
God,
like,
Rachel.
that's all you got? Like, are you serious?
It made me sad. I was like, because you know how many, like, you just have to think about how many of these groups of people are made of people who had to compete against each other for so long, and they all had their own egos, and they were all like, you know, were the best in their class, and then they came to be trainees, and it's just like the worst of the worst comes out of people. And I was like, yeah, I mean, to me, that's what I thought. It was like an amalgamation of a bunch of people. I love Taeyeon so much that I really don't want to think that it's her specifically. So I'm gonna just kind of put that aside and just say that it's maybe everybody. But literally after I read the book, I went and I looked up those video compilations that people made of like people ignoring Jessica, like on like times Jessica was ignored by other people in Girls' Generation.
Right.
It was the first time I had like really paid attention to it, and I was like, I don't want to watch this. I was like, this is me. I was like,
Oh no, that would be too much of a bummer.
yeah, but I know that like, you know, a lot of it's true, but I'm sure like that would have been probably like a smart trick too, to not, just in case like there could have been some kind of defamation lawsuit thrown at you, since Korea loves those. That if you kind of take elements, probably like pretty distinguishable elements that like they between themselves they understand, but you couldn't really prove in court, then like you mix them all together, then that would be the ultimate
Totally.
burn.
I had mentioned this last week, but it reminds me of the Dixie Chicks Gaslighter album, in that there are a lot of really specific details in that album that paint a very specific picture, but she says that they have been changed so that she will not be sued. But you know they're close enough because they're so specific that like tights on my boat, like I think we can infer that like other garments were left somewhere else. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's too close.
So the $1 million question, who do you think Jason is based off of?
Of course.
See, this is a much more fun question. Much more relaxing.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Well, I don't know if y'all, I mean, probably Natalie knows, but I don't know if y'all know that I'm an elf. So there have always been rumors out there that her and Donghae from Super Junior had something. When I got into the fandom, I was a Donghae bias, so I'm sorry, Jessica, for hating you just for existing at one point a million years ago when I was way younger.
It's very big of you to admit that, and I really appreciate you being vulnerable on my
what?
podcast.
My journey, my feminist journey, like Rachel.
Yeah, you gotta embrace it.
Yes.
Yes.
So
You know, and you're shining already at the end.
exactly. So yeah, based on the fact that he had already debuted and that he was in the same company, like I was like, oh, maybe Donghae.
He was our strongest contender in the SM bracket of potential Jasons last week.
Yeah, he was.
There's a 2 p.m. side and an SM side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I totally see that. I see the tech. And so that's kind of That's what I would go for. I think like again, I was thinking about it, Canada, Boston.
Right? Canada and Boston are not that
know.
far away from each other.
They're not. A
They're really
stone's
not.
throw. And
Maybe it's another mix of the two of them.
Could be. Maybe they were in like a secret love triangle and
I would read
she's
that.
mixing it up. Yeah.
I know.
like
That's
that.
why Angelica said that she doesn't want to read the sequel, but I feel like I'm more excited for the sequel because if that's the part where she's in a group, then I feel like that's the part where like things might be more fun. Because I think I was just also disappointed at like how few characters there sort of were in this. Like I was expecting that there would be like a lot of trainees or other members that we would like get to know, and they'd all be different personality types and like Harry Potter, and you'd get to be like, look, it's all the kids at the school. But it wasn't like that. So maybe the second one will be, and that would be fun. And maybe there can be
Yeah.
a new boy because there has to be because in P.S. I Love You Too, or To All the Boys I Loved Before 2 and Kissing Booth 2, those all turn into love triangles. P.S. I Love You is the one where Hilary Swank is
that's
dying,
the, like,
right?
dead. No, her husband
No,
dies.
she's not dying.
Oh,
Gerard
he
Butler's
dies.
Dying.
Yeah.
He dies.
He dies, and then she meets like a Irish Gerard Butler and marries that guy.
Yeah, Dermot, whatever.
Dermot Mulroney.
No,
No,
Dermot
not that
I know,
one.
I was about to go there. It's Denny from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, right, that guy.
Anyways, but still, Gerard Butler, but Irish.
Anyway.
But To All the Boys I Loved Before, yes, love triangle. Love triangles, absolutely. Everyone loves a love triangle. You can't
We
go
should
wrong.
have had. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that. Didn't she like talk about that on like the interviews she did? She was like, "Oh, there were boys, and there were this, and there were that," and I was like, "Plural,
Plural.
I need to see
boys.
more boys."
I'm saying more boys.
That's
and
that's
then
the tea
more,
I
like,
want.
and more nice people. Like I want to see more. Like I like the tea. I like the little, but I want to see some cool women who are
That's the
friendly.
mentor. That's the trainer. No,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
She
but
like,
she
also
wasn't
was
there
barely
enough.
part of it.
Yeah.
I thought when they introduced her, I was like, cool, mentor character. She's going to have cool things to say, but she disappears after like the 5th chapter.
yeah. What was the name of the Japanese friend?
Akari.
Akari. She seemed like such a homie, and then
Yeah, poor Akari.
yeah, and then she threw her just like kicked her
Didn't
to the
even
curb.
care.
That
Really?
was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
you've
was
been
like,
talking
what
ab-
happened to those?
Yeah, where's the sorority? Where's like all this? Like, oh yeah, women empowerment, blah blah blah. I'm like, your friend.
Yeah, what happened to those
officer.
feminist mantras, Rachel, that your mom had instilled in you?
didn't have time to text your friend. Didn't have time to send her a quick KKT,
Yeah,
and say
right?
what's up. Send her a little emoji and a little A peach.
Give
Say,
her
"I'm
a
doing
little,
well."
give her some little Ryan hearts. Come on.
Easy. Come on now. Yeah, I think I would have liked to. I see what I thought that like the whole tea, like the reason why Akari was like doing her own thing, she had her own secret. It was because she was like picked to do a solo on her own. She was gonna have this cool like, look what I'm doing. I don't know. I thought there was gonna be a little twisteroo somehow there, but
That would've
Yeah,
been
Rachel
interesting.
did make a lot of points to be like, Akari's hair looked good, and Akari is good at stuff. If people like Akari, she's better than me.
Yeah, and then
Or
she
maybe-
just gets traded away.
Or maybe like she's because she paints herself throughout the whole entire thing as like the victim. Like everyone's so mean to me, and I'm just here trying my best. But like she's in a group of mean girls. Like maybe she's the mean girl too.
right.
Maybe.
For
She
sure.
just doesn't see it.
You know what should have happened? There should have been a love triangle with Akari and Jason and Rachel. That would have
Oh
been.
my god. If her relationship with Jason started as part of the ploy, but he was like with Akari for real, and then they like.
Oh my
then
god,
it got
that would have been
complicated.
great. That would have been such a good twist.
Where's Penguin Books? Who's signing
Hello,
you? Let's
Simon
go.
and Schuster.
Let's go. I'd read that. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of imaginations and things we wish were, we should get into today's big assignment, which is that we're gonna try to cast this obvious version of Shine that will exist on film. Like, I fully believe that everything about this book was just leading up to a Netflix movie. That is my theory.
Sure.
So we're going to make it. And we asked the listeners to submit choices for people that you would like to see in the movie. And I compiled them all into a beautiful PowerPoint presentation. I took all of the listeners' submissions and I compiled them into this so that we have visuals to look at. But we're going to go character by character and talk about who the listeners submitted, who we have ideas for, and then we're going to like cast this, make an official cast of this movie, I guess.
Wow. This is a really well-made PowerPoint presentation. Good job.
Thank you. I didn't want to do real work this today because I don't want to. Okay, great. So I guess we have to start. I have it starting with Rachel, unless we have any reason to not cast it that way.
I think it's fine to start with Rachel.
So we had a lot of potential choices for Rachel, but the top 3 choices submitted by the listeners, like with the most votes for Rachel, are Leah from ITZY, Somi, formerly of IOI and now a solo artist, and Jenny from Blackpink got the most votes. But we also have Arin from Oh My Girl, Denise from Secret Number, Chaeyeon from Twice, Wendy from Red Velvet, and Shua from G Idol. These were all potential submitted Rachels.
Wow. I love the range.
I know. Does anybody have any immediate gut thoughts about these Rachels, or do any of these correlate with anybody's? Because I honestly did not write anybody down for Rachel or Jason because I feel like I kind of like neither person really was anybody strong in my mind and I couldn't like commit to anybody. So I was just like, I don't know, convince me of like what Rachels you think, because I really don't know.
I wrote down Somi also because I felt like in a Netflix adaptation or whatever, I feel like Somi would bring this, like, maybe she would, like, I mean, I think that she would make Rachel a little bit funnier and like more empathizing, because she wasn't all that likable, you know? Like, she was likable, but sometimes you were like, girl, sit down.
Yeah. Personally, I thought she was not likable at all. And I honestly, Jenny was my first choice for Rachel, because she does speak English and she is actually like, she has like lived abroad. So I thought she could bring that lived experience. But I also feel like she has kind of a like resting like face. And so I felt like the fact that Rachel was unlikable, I felt would be kind of believable, like for Jenny to be like this. I thought she could like pull off the like, oh, I'm just like, oops, I'm just the favorite. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's kind of who she is in YG2 maybe. So that was my first choice. But I was very specific and I was like, Rachel has to be a vocalist. So I like Googled like, Jenny singing, because I know she's the rapper of Blackpink, and she has a really belty voice. So my ultimate pick was Somi. In the end, I felt like she had the range to pull off Rachel.
I agree. Somi was my top pick, because she speaks the best English out of all the people that I had written down. And
that was a big factor, to be honest. That's the first thing that I thought, like, who speaks English?
Me too.
Who could pull it off?
Yeah, totally. There's some characters where I was like, this, I think everybody else, like, we can do Korean, we can do subtitles, but when Jason and Rachel speak most of the time, it's probably would make most sense if they speak in English sometimes. So this would be important. And I totally agree with you. She would bring, I think, she would bring a humor to the character. She is a good vocalist. She's a good dancer, so she would have to tone it down. And I did write a lot of. I did write Leah too. Though Leah is really young, so
Yes, I will say now that the Itzies are very, very represented for most roles by like people submitted Itzies for every girl role in here because I think those are the youngest people that anyone can think of. Like the Itzies, they're teenagers. They could do
Right.
this.
I did somebody who I thought of. I didn't think of Jenny for this. I actually thought of Jenny for Mina, but I thought of Rose for Rachel as well. She has a little bit of an ingenue-esque quality to her. She's warm, and she has a cute accent.
Rose was on my short list too.
I have Rose just written in the corner because I like want her in this movie somewhere because I feel like she's shown in the few chances she's gotten in Blackpink videos that she's an excellent actress.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like I want to see, she's so good at crying. So I was like, I want to see her like do something real.
So maybe she's a really good pick for Rachel. I had her on my list too. But I ultimately picked Somi because she was younger and foreign as well. Because she's also Canadian, I think.
Leah?
No, Somi.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah. So
Isn't she Korean Canadian?
Yes.
Yes, her dad.
Yeah. Her very hot dad is Canadian.
Her dad
Have
who
you
played an
seen-
American soldier on, what was that drama called? Descendants
Descendants
of
of
the
the
Sun.
Oh, Descendants of the Sun.
Wow.
Yeah, if you
throwback.
haven't Googled Somi's dad, do it immediately.
I haven't, but I'm gonna.
They're just like a really hot family, and everyone has abs, and it's like
Wow.
It seems like a fun household.
So I'm going to go ahead and say, because all three of you said Somi, for right now, I'm putting, if this is for our casting, I'm putting Somi on the top of the
She
Rachel
gets the
pile.
callback.
We can come back to it at the end, but I think that's a great place to start. So the next question is, who is going to be our male lead? Who is going to be our Jason? And there is a PowerPoint presentation. Like I said, it's linked in the episode description, so you can look along with this. But the way that I arranged these is that if a picture is much larger than another one, that's because it got a ton of votes so that we could sort of visualize how people were asking for these. So the most popular choice for Jason Lee, like overwhelmingly, is Vernon from 17. I think this is because Vernon is like is the only boy half white idol. So there you go. The next biggest choice was Mark from NCT. And then 4 other popular boy choices were Bang Chan, Kang Daniel, Wyatt from On and Off, and Jaehyun from NCT. A lot of people said that they pictured Jaehyun for Jason, and I feel like Jason was kind of wobbly in my mind, but when I look at pictures of Jaehyun, I'm like, yeah, that's what Jason looked like in my mind, actually. Like, yeah, him. But yeah, I don't know.
I
Go ahead,
love
Natalie.
the idea. Sorry, I love the idea. I had never thought of Wyatt before. I think that's a really cute
Yeah.
idea. But I would actually, perhaps I would cast him as the fun friend.
Oh yeah.
Min
That's a
Jun,
good
yes.
choice for the fun friend. I'm gonna write that down so that we remember.
Because that's a later slide.
Oh, right. Jaehyun, yeah, Jaehyun's a good one. Vernon, bless Vernon. Everybody knows I love that young man. I would have to see him in front of a camera. I would have to see him. I would love to be convinced that he is a good actor. I just can't imagine him acting in this role and being like a little bit and being suave, you know?
Sure. That was the part where like when she first described him, I thought about Vernon, but then the next thing that Jason said was like so stupid and smarmy. I like couldn't even imagine him saying it. And I was like, no. And Angelica and I were laughing very hard the other night when we thought about this because Vernon also can't sing. So
Oh my God,
he would,
yeah.
so he would either have to be Zac Efron, like in High School Musical 1, and someone else would have to sing for him, or we thought it would be very funny if he just was a rapper instead. So Rachel like sings with his rapping, and that's what like makes everybody
Wait.
love them.
And if
That's a good
everybody was like,
idea.
oh my God, you could just feel the magic, but it's like Vernon being like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours.
Yeah, I like that. But you know, Woozy would disagree with you. He loves Vernon's voice. His
Vernon's singing voice has grown, but he is
has.
not a tenor.
But
And
he's
Yes.
not a
Jason is
tenor.
specifically described as a
Yeah,
tenor
tenor.
multiple times.
Yeah, that's true. But that would also be another reason why we can't cast Mark. Also, bless
Or
him.
Bang Chan.
Or
honestly.
Wyatt.
Or oh yeah, well
All these
yeah.
rappers.
All these are also Mark has to me has the same is the same for the same reason as Vernon. Like
He's not smooth.
He's just not smooth. He's just too dorky in a beautiful way. You know, we love it, but I can't imagine it. I can see Bang Chan kind of pulling it off. He has his moments.
I got very excited when I was making this, and I put that picture of him that I picked. It makes me so. Oh my God, he's so cute. Okay, anyway, I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh my God, and if it was Bang Chan and you like retcon it so that he's Australian instead of Canadian, and then at the big fight at the end, he'd be like, no, Rachel, you don't understand. And like, it would be so good.
It would. And he doesn't have to be from Canada. They can go on a 5-stop tour in Australia.
It would make more
sure.
sense, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly.
Alexis, who did you have in mind for Jason?
Well, I mean, I think it's very like Vernon. It's like the go-to because he's biracial. But I thought that he was a little bit too old, maybe, for the role. Now that I'm seeing the options here that the listener said, like Bang Chan, I thought could be, you know, an interesting choice for everything that's already been mentioned. But I actually wrote down Eric from The Boys.
Okay, other people did mention Eric from The Boys, and I had him on here, but I edited the slide. But I'll put him back on because you said it. But yeah, Eric is very interesting because I was watching some Boys content today, and I was like, oh, Eric is 19, and like Jason is supposed to be 19. And like it put Jason in context for me because like Eric is like the most teenager. Like,
Yeah.
he thinks he's a grown up, but he's like not, and it's so funny.
Yeah.
So that is a pretty good choice.
Is Eric a singer in The Boys?
No.
I have no idea.
No.
No, Eric is a rapper. So that is why I would like to put forth my pick. My number one pick is Jacob from The Boys.
Okay, Natalie.
He's too
Same.
nice, though.
Okay, exactly.
Yes. Yes,
Way
he is.
too nice.
He is, but he has the ingredients. He plays guitar. He has a very lovely tenor voice. He is Canadian. He is very charming. And Eric has recently said that he would like to show some more sides of him instead of not just the nice guy. He wants to, he wants to kind of come out of his shell a little bit. So what better opportunity than a big time Netflix movie deal to
Maybe
show
we
us
can
his
Milli
chops.
Vanilli it and just have Jacob's voice in like Eric's face.
Oh, yours Milli Vanilli is the Zac Efron.
Dating myself.
No, that's great. No, that's so funny, Natalie, because once I finished this little presentation today, I sat down to watch Steeler House. And in the first episode, Jacob just sat there in the back with his freaking guitar. And I was like, look at Jason over there guitaring with the whole time, like, just singing to himself while other people are like doing things. And I was like, okay. But I think about how like soft and sweet and they're complimenting me and I feel great. Like that boy having to be like a mean, but maybe he can spread his range. I'm being convinced here.
that's the thing, is like so many of these boys are just so nice, and would have to just kind of let they just have to loosen up a little bit, and also and be a little bit more like cool and smarmy, and a little bit more fuckboy-esque.
Yeah.
That
as I
brings me
said.
to my suggestion.
Please.
A foreign idol who is a tenor, can play the guitar, and has proven fuckboy ability. Shua from 17 was my number one choice for Jason.
Oh.
He's a fuckboy?
He can be. Yes.
Take your word for it.
I will. I feel like I need to text you photos. He
I'll
has
gladly accept
recently gotten very buff and has started to enjoy wearing less clothing in fashion photo shoots. But I also think, like, just in seeing, like, him and Jonghan are, like, notorious for being very, like, sassy and ridiculous. So I think that he could easily pull off the, like, smarmy, like, that whole first scene when Jason walks up and does the stupid, like, PJs, like, werewolf girl thing. I think Shua could do it with his, like, stupid, like, half smile. Like, I think he could do it.
I think he could also really pull off the I lost the word. The like naivete, like when Jason doesn't like get things, like
When
I
he,
feel
like, doesn't understand sexism. Yeah,
Yeah.
Joshua has those,
Ignorance.
like, big dopey eyes. Like, he could do it.
that he would be like, but
Yeah.
everyone's nice to me, and I'd be like, oh, you stupid.
Yeah, he was on my list too. I could kind of see it. But all of them, I think, would just need a little bit. That's what acting is for. They would just need a little bit of a dial turn up. They would need a little spice, a little more spiciness kind of sprinkled on them. I also put, just in case, Hong Sup from Pentagon.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
He's an English-speaking boy too.
He's from California, isn't he?
English speak.
Well, he lived here in San Diego.
Oh, San Diego. That's what it was. I knew it was somewhere.
That's a really
Yeah.
good nomination, actually, because he is a vocalist and he definitely has he's a fuckboy.
Yeah, he's a little bit. He's a little bit older, but I don't know. We could put a beret on him,
And just
dress
say.
him young.
That was my reservation for Shua too. I was like, he's a little older, but like we could young him down.
Yeah, give him the rosy cheeks. He could figure it out. But I think that could work. Yeah.
Well-
Alexis, did you already give your nomination? Yes, you said Eric from The
Yeah.
Boys. That's right. I wrote it down.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I think he could do it. And again, I think the rap version of all of this could probably work.
It would be fun. It would certainly match K-pop.
And it would give it that, like the bad boy edge. that, like,
Yes.
supposedly all the rappers have.
And
I
if
don't
we
know if I believe it, like guitar playing and like, oh, he's a bad boy. Like I don't know if I'm sold on that in 2020.
And if we're basing it off of present day SM, all of their golden boys are rappers, like Hello, Mark, and Lucas.
True.
And Taeyong.
And Taeyong. Thank you. You're right.
Wow.
Could never forget their number one gibberish rapper.
So, which of these, I mean, we have no consensus here. So, which of these potential Jasons goes the best with our Somi Rachel? That might be how we have to decide this.
I'm leaning more towards, like, even though my initial picks were 17s, I do feel like the boys, you know what I'm saying? The
Yes.
boys from The Boys. I feel like they're a better fit. But I don't know them well. Based solely on the pictures, I think Eric fits the image I had more of Jason, but I don't know their personalities. So I don't know anything aside from that.
Eric is a teenager and he's very loud and he's a teenager. And Jacob is the smallest, sweetest, softest boy.
Though, like, Eric has his thoughty moments.
Oh, that's true.
So,
Yeah, he does. He's very much like, I'm a grown up now. And so, like, I feel like if he got this role, that would, really solidify his journey.
yeah, and that would be good too because it would make him a little bit more famous, and I generally just want the boys to be more famous, and so just for like the bringing up the whole group when one of us shines, no pun intended. I think that that
All
would be
puns
he would be a
intended.
good he would be a good fit. I like that. He's
I like
Yeah.
that too. Eric. Did you just like have a picture of Eric ready to go?
Yes.
I think maybe we can do like Eric, and then there are the moments where Jason has to play guitar. We CGI in Jacob's
Jacob's
playing
hands.
guitar.
So will
Hands
Milli
playing
Vanilli
guitar.
just the guitar playing?
Right?
There he
Perfect.
is.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah.
He looks
got-
like a Jason.
He does look like a Jason.
does.
Doesn't he look like a Jason?
He
All
kind
right.
of looks like Jaehyun in those two pictures.
Right?
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has a
Perfect.
really adorable kind of semi-lisp too, which would just add a lot to the charm.
Oh, I can fully picture him busting into the practice room with the fries. I'm like, okay.
Just being like, you want some?
This is good. Yeah, and he's the same age as Sami, so that would work.
Perfect.
I think. No, he's a little younger, maybe. I think she's like 18.
Yeah. Well, great. Then I say we pick Eric from The Boys.
Yes, I love it.
Next most important question is who is going to play the mean girl? We got a lot of suggestions for this one from our listeners, but the most popular, again, overwhelming amount of votes, Yeji from ITZY for Mina, like first and foremost. Other two ITZYs, Leah and Ryujin, were also voted for a lot of times. And then some other standout choices, Nayeon from Twice, and then actresses Lee Sung-kyung and Kim Hye-yoon, and also Yerin from Everglow. And I tried to choose pictures where they all look kind of mean. I really was trying to bring out all the proper emotions with these.
Yeah, that picture of Yeji is great.
She was my number one choice.
Me
like,
too.
As soon as I was like, she has the perfect face for Mina, and she's around the right age. And plus, she's my ITZY bias. So I was like, I need her. I didn't pick
She's
her
a
for
really
my
good-
fantasy girl group, so I need her in my Shine Dreamcast.
And she's a really good dancer.
Yes,
And
she's an excellent dancer.
I like that. I wrote on mine Jenny, as I said before, and I wrote Nayeon. So I'm glad to see her on there. Though she is a little bit older. So if we were skewing young, I like the idea of one of the ITZY girls. I'd like to see Ryujin flex her sassy mean girl-esque. So I'd like to see that too. And she's also a fantastic dancer.
Speaking of sassy. Oh, you weren't finished?
No, let's say that both of them rap. But Yeji and Leah sings, is a vocalist. But I think Yeji sometimes lends her
She sings too.
her alto. So maybe that's how you say she sings too. Go ahead, Alexis.
Well, speaking of sassy, I kind of have two of them. First, I wrote Wendy from Red Velvet because I
Okay.
think that she has that like she's so nice and she's so cute, but like could cut you.
Yes,
And
I agree.
But also Yeri from Red Velvet because she's also like, oh, I'm so nice and everything, but she's like so fucking sassy and she's also cutting up bitches left and right. So I think that would be like a cool balance, because Mina is written as like this girl that everyone likes, or that is like a pleaser. Like she always wants to be liked by everyone in charge and everything, but she's a fucking bitch. So I think that would be like a cool contrast.
I like those options. I agree. Both
Yeah.
of them, both of those, like Wendy and Yeri both see. I was like, Irene would work too, because she's
But
like
she's
supposed
30.
to be mean. Yeah, I know, but she's too old.
That's two on the nose.
Yeah, two on the nose, two on the nose. But I agree. I think Yeri's pretty young. Although, I mean, all of the Red Velvets are like in their mid-20s by now. Mid to
I
late.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yuri might still be a teen. Maybe she's 20 by now.
I think
little, though.
she's the same age as like the Dream Boys, like Jaemin, Jeno,
Okay.
Haechan. I think.
Yeah,
sounds
for
right.
similar reasons, I think I wrote down Leah as well, just because I feel like Leah is like when I see Leah do put on her English voice and be like, "Hi, we're Itzy," I can like totally see her saying something nice to one person and then being like, "Rachel," like I don't know, I just like feel like she could do it. And this picture of her with her arms crossed, like, ooh, I don't want to mess with her.
Yeah, all of these pictures, like, you really hit it out of the park.
Thank you,
I mean,
thank you.
Yeji really's got that, like, she has such an intense stare, even when she dances too, and she's like, "I'm a bad bitch." You're like, "Yes, you are."
Yes, she is the
Absolutely.
smolder.
Yeah. So I'm really into that.
So should we side with all of the listeners and go with Yeji this time?
I vote Yeji. She was my pick.
I'll concede
into it.
to Jeju.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. All right, next character in line for discussion is Kong Gina. And we got a ton of very, very varied suggestions for this one. The only one that was mentioned more than once is Jennie from Blackpink. So I put her picture biggest on here. But other suggestions people made: Crystal, Soo Young from SNSD, Joy from Red Velvet, Soyeji, the actress, Yoonji from A-Pink, and Seulgi from Red Velvet were all suggested as potential Kong Ginas, but we've also said that Jessica should probably get to play this role because she very clearly wrote it for herself. Discuss.
Yes.
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 I think
when I was
Soo
reading
Young.
the book,
Go ahead.
when I was reading the book, I always thought that she wrote herself into Rachel and what's her name, Gina.
Gina.
She's
For
both
sure.
of them, like in different stages of her life. I was like, wow.
100% agreed.
But you know
Yeah,
what?
same.
Like everyone that I'm looking on here, like they're very, prim and like, bad bitch and whatever. So, but my pick, I think when I think back to the book, the Gina scene that not resonated with me, but like stayed with me, and I thought like if this were a movie, this would be really funny, was the part when she was drunk out of her ass, just being like, "Oh, don't get a boyfriend," blah blah blah. So I think that, so I was like, yeah, like maybe Gina should be someone who's funny. So I wrote Ailey.
Oh,
Plus she's older.
That's cute.
But she's small. She can look a little bit younger, but she's supposed to be like 10 years older than
right.
Rachel. So I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's fine to go that old.
I like that because also Ailey is another person who like suffered extreme public humiliation, and I feel like she could bring that real life experience to this
Tap
character.
into that.
That would be, necessary.
Totally.
Who
I
did you
like
have in
that
mind,
a lot.
Natalie?
I wrote down Jessica, and I also wrote down Crystal because I love a little meta moment, a little wink. And I agree too that Jessica wrote this character about herself, so why not play it? But I like the idea of Ailey a lot. I think that would be really fun. So I could definitely could get
Okay.
on board. And if we wanted, and she speaks English, so for some reason, those executives over at Netflix are like, oh man, everybody's got to speak English because we don't know how to read subtitles, then Ailey could be like, well, I've got this in the bag.
Yeah.
Very
true.
true. Very true. I had Ailey on my short list as well, although my ultimate choice was Jessica, as we discussed. But I think it's really funny that Soo Young was nominated by the listeners.
Yeah,
and I think, like,
if they even read the book.
oh my God, Jessica would murder someone if Soo Young was cast as this role that was so clearly herself. Like, I'm just thinking about the way she was described as being like effortlessly beautiful, and then like for Soo Young to walk out on set, oh my God, Jessica would blow a gasket. That would be so funny.
That would be really good.
All right, so
Okay.
I have written Ailey or Jessica, so I guess it's just sort of like, does Jessica want to be in her movie? Because if she does, I think it's only fair that she get this part. But if she doesn't want to be in it, if she wants to say direct it, then like we can let Ailey have this part.
I feel like Jessica would be more like like a Stephanie Meyer, that she would just be like serving a drink or something, in the background, just being like
yeah.
wink, wink.
Yeah, she'd be like the Stan Lee of this movie, where she'd just like go back in the background or whatever. Or maybe she could be the wise, cool teacher,
Oh, the mentor.
Yeah.
the mentor.
True.
that
There
would
are
be
a couple
interesting.
places Jessica could be.
Eugene.
Yeah.
Eugene.
I wrote down Kahi for that from After School. Just because she did that on Produce.
Oh yeah. Wait,
All
do
right.
we want to go? Oh no,
We
go
can
ahead.
skip
Did
straight to that
did
one.
We have a
Oh my God.
consensus?
Those are literal
No.
children.
I said that the role is Jessica's if she wants it. If she doesn't want it, we're giving it to Ailey.
All right, I like that.
Okay, so yes, Leah Kim. These are actual 11-year-olds. We found some.
Who are these
so-
children?
I will tell you who they are. The first one is Na Haun, and she is that girl who does K-pop covers, and she's been doing them since she was like 5, and she like shows up at the award shows or whatever, and she like full out does BTS dances by herself. She's precious. She's 12. I follow her on Instagram.
Me too.
The next person who should probably be our answer is Somi's little sister Evelyn.
Oh, okay.
So if we can go at Jessica Crystal, we should probably just pick Evelyn. But other suggestions were Ella Gross, who is like a child model, and I guess she knows Blackpink. I was like Googling her today. And then Kim So-in, who played the young Ko Moon-young on It's Okay to Not Be Okay this year, and she's just like a little doll child. And all of these girls are 12, so I was like, here we go. These are our Leahs.
I love since we cast Somi, I love the meta casting of her real sister. Like I personally don't need any other convincing. I had no one for this role, so I'm sold.
And also too, like, she's not supposed to be a dancer. She's just like a normie. She's a muggle. So
Right.
So far.
So far.
Yeah.
So for now, I think that would be a very cute choice. I do really like Nahan. So
Yeah.
if I would definitely want to see her audition.
And it would all depend on what is going to happen in the sequel of the book, because if Leah does end up becoming
Crystal
and like does end up becoming a trainee, then yeah, maybe we would need to cast someone who is a dancer.
So maybe we can do like the Somi's little sister Evelyn, and in the first one, and then do one of those switcheroos.
recast.
No one will know.
Recast. And then we can get Nahan. But who knows? Maybe Evelyn's got some moves,
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah. Or maybe Leah's not a dancer either, Rachel's not a dancer. Maybe it runs in the family.
True. All right, moving on. Akari. This is one where there was an even amount of suggestions for Sakura from IZ*ONE and Momo from Twice. Also nominated Sana from Twice, Juri from Rocket Punch, and Hitomi and Nako also from IZ*ONE. So these are like the girl Japanese idols. Here they are. My pick is Sakura. Like, as soon as I pulled this picture up, I was like, that's what Akari looked like in my mind. Done. I don't know anything about her, but just based off of a picture of her, I was like, she's perfect. I want her. Anyone else?
For this one, I came to throw a curveball. I'm
great.
issuing a rewrite. I want everything changed.
Okay, here we
Because
go.
if we're casting Somi, I want Dewi from AB6 to be the best friend.
Oh my god, a gender bend.
Right?
Fun idea. That's a very fun idea. And it would open up the potential for some additional drama because for the movie, we're going to have to flesh out some of these characters. And if Akari was actually a boy, then Jason could get jealous of their friendship. And that could explain why Rachel
Why they
stops
don't
talking
talk.
to Akari and no longer and doesn't know that
We
he
would
got
have a
traded.
motive, a real
I
motive.
love this suggestion.
That's beautiful.
Love this rewrite.
Beautiful.
There you go.
And again, if
Leave
our
it to the writer.
producers were like, the producers were like, hey, oh my God, we gotta get this. We can't do the subtitles. Dewi can speak English very well.
Exactly.
It's again, not a requirement, but just a nice thing to have in your back pocket, just in case people decide to be xenophobic, you know?
Yeah. Good backup
I
plan.
I like that a lot. I had a little change in my list, but not as big. I thought maybe like Lisa would be cute because I just want her to be in this film because I just care about her, Blackpink Lisa, and so. But she's got too much star power. She might take over the entire film. You couldn't write her a small part. She would have to.
My
Yeah,
play
that's
by the
true.
rules. My play by the rules pick was this new girl from Espa. Espa. How do you pronounce it? Espa. Giselle.
Espa?
Espa? I don't know. That's
Espa.
that KDA thing. Whatever. Giselle. Because honestly, I couldn't think of that many Japanese idols that would speak English. So I was like, she's an SM. She can probably act, right? A little bit.
I feel like most SM people or most SM trainees get the like, you need to know how to put on an act.
It is very important.
But yeah, I had to just Google like Japanese K-pop idols. And so I had also picked Sakura based just solely on her looks. But I am very much a fan of this gender bend. There was actually just like sort of a shout out to this conversation I scrolled through in the Discord. They had like gender swapped all of the roles. And they had suggested like a Rachel Kim instead, like if you made it like a male rapper and it could be Lucas. And then the mentor was Jackson from Got7. And I was like, wait, I love this. I don't need to read anymore. I'm in.
That's some fanfic stuff.
Yes, right? Fan fiction. The fan fiction version.
They'll be the spinoff.
Yeah, I like it.
We'll make it.
I like it.
Well, I'm totally into this gender bend, and I will vote Daehui, and we change Akari's gender altogether.
Let's do it. We're
Great.
the producers. We can do whatever we
We
want.
do what we want. All right, next. For the mentor at DB Entertainment, Chung Yoo-jin, the 5 most popular choices as submitted by our listeners are Boa, Sunmi, Hwasa, CL, and IU.
Boa is the only name I had under Yujin.
Boa was? Mm-hmm. You had Sunmi at Alexis?
Sunmi and Kahi. And Kahi.
Who is Kahi? Oh, from After School. I don't know After School that well. Aside from
See,
Orange
me
Kid.
neither, but I know her.
The person
She
that
wasn't produced.
Oh, okay, that's right. I was like, why did you pick it? Right, because she'd already done the mentor role. Totally.
Yeah, or Sunmi. Honestly, I just noticed that I also wrote Sunmi for Jaina.
I was thinking Sunmi would be a great Kang Jina, but I do also kind of like her. I don't know. She's too fabulous to be Yujin, because Yujin was never an idol, right? Like, she was just a dancer and
No,
like,
her mom was an idol,
choreographer.
yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like Sunmi is like so glamorous that I wouldn't buy her as like. No one would allow someone with that face to work for a company and not be an idol. You know what I mean?
Sure.
No, I agree.
I had the person that I think I pictured when I was reading, so who I wrote down is Ellie from EXID, because I don't know, that's just like a person I think about when I think about like an older role model type idol. That's just like the person that comes to my mind, because she's like older than her whole group and she keeps them together and writes all their music or whatever, so she seems like a person who like has her shit together. And so I don't know, that's my mind said Ellie.
I really like that. I really like Boa. It's symbolic. It's she always gives me like a warm mentory vibe. Like her sunbays like really love her. I think she would be great. It's funny when you put a Poisson on there. I had a moment where I was like, "Ooh," and I imagined it. I don't know. I imagined it like old school choreographers, like with the stick, like banging it on the ground, and like her just like surfing and be like, "Do it again." But
oh my god, I would love seeing Hwasa as like a mean ballet teacher or something.
Right, that's what it is. But I think she has probably the same. Not to say that Boa obviously has star quality, but I think she and Sunmi, like I would say, like have that same
Glamorous
same
face
issue.
Aura.
Yeah, that makes them seem like they wouldn't just be someone who's like, I gave up on that dream long ago. I don't know. I think Boa could sell it. I like her in this.
She does have acting experience.
True. She is a Hollywood movie star and she speaks English too.
I have another person who
Yes.
was an idol, and she doesn't have that, like that aura that like Sunmi or Boa. I wrote Min from Miss A, and she was a dancer.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably more second gen girls I could be like reaching back towards that I'm just not finding at this moment. But Angelica, did you share your Yujin picks?
Boa was the only name I had on my list.
Okay.
Because I just figured in the same way that we were I just lost the train of thought that was coming out of my mouth as it was coming out of my mouth. Never mind. Boa was the only name I had.
Well, then I will say, just for the sake of time, because we're running out of it, that because Boa got multiple votes, we're going to give this role to Boa, as she is already a mentor at her agency, so this won't be too much of a stretch.
Yeah. And since we know this is like supposed to be a not SM, it would be like a nice little wink if it was Boa.
Okay, this next one is very exciting because I really loved everybody's choices and I loved finding suit pictures of all these men. But Mr. Han, who is Rachel's ally at the company and also somehow weirdly like her manager, he has a weird role in the book, but he is described as Korean Chris Hemsworth and that he like wears fancy suits and watches and stuff. So the 5 most popular choices from our listeners were Shiny Mino, Jungkook from Turbo, Siwon from Super Junior, Rain, and Park Seo-joon. And I know, and everybody has their hands over their mouths. We're all just like, how could we even pick? That's how I feel.
Where is that picture of Mino from?
From a fashion
show.
week.
So
He was sitting in the fucking front row looking awesome.
He looks very unlike himself. He looks so
So serious.
big. So serious.
I'm starting easy and ruling out Seo-joon just because that's such a small role for him. He would need to be adjacent, something like that. But he's too old for that.
Same.
He
That was
aged
the
out of
worst. That was the worst part of Oscar-winning film Parasite is that Park Seo-joon is in it for 3 frickin' minutes.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Agreed.
And his character is sus.
Yeah, that's true. He starts all the trouble.
Yeah. However, Mr. Han also perhaps is dating an inappropriately young girl. So Park Seo-joon has already proven that he can play that role effortlessly.
Hey, damn.
Mr. Han is dating.
It's suggested
Nina
that
is
Nina
wearing
is dating
his
him 'cause
watch.
He's wearing the special grandfather watch. And she's supposed to be like 16 and he's like in his 30s. Actually, we don't know how old Mina is, maybe.
I missed that. I thought that maybe they were like.
No, they're the
related.
same age.
Well, they are the same age, right?
Because
Yeah.
they made a very big deal about like Rachel didn't bow to her because they're the same
right,
age,
right,
and it
right,
was
right.
like,
That's right,
but
that's right,
she's
that's right.
more
Because
experienced
at the
than you.
very, very end, like Rachel gets one snark in about Mr. Han, like at the very end of the book, and Mina is like, "What?" And so it's like implied that something's happening, which I assumed would come up. in
And
the
she has
second
his
book.
watch, right?
Yeah, she wears his watch.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
missed
then
that.
let's outrule Shiwon too, because Super Junior is already embroiled in too many fucking. I don't want any of that.
I really like Rain for this.
Me too.
He is charismatic. He is hunky. He rocks a suit and seems like he could be both in the boardroom and outside of the boardroom.
And he also already played this role in that drama with Crystal, actually.
Yes.
He was like the exec and he was fucking her.
That's true.
Well,
that's true.
allegedly.
Yeah, I love Rain too. I had written Park Seo-joon, but I gasped at the Rain suggestion because I think that's perfect. Like, yeah, he's already played this
I'm with it,
role.
though.
He's like the perfect age, and in making this book, like making this book into a movie, like we've talked a lot about how it's like who's the audience of this book, right? Because people who know a lot about the K-pop industry are a little bit distracted by like the inaccuracies of the way that some parts of K-pop are like portrayed in the book. But if the movie is geared a little bit more like with these stars, right? Like grabbing people who care about K-pop, Rain is the perfect choice. Like such a bigger wink than Boa, I think, because he is K-pop.
He
And
is
so
K-pop.
For him to be like the new young exec who's like, you know, the new wave of K-pop that we're bringing in, I think is like too perfect.
Also, like, speaking of this potential scandal with him and a younger person, just saying, like, if I was young and Rain was
on.
walking around the halls of my company, you know,
I'd
Just
make
saying.
bad choices.
Yeah.
Bad choices would be made.
I'd wear his watch too, you know.
Yeah. Oh man, now I'm like really thinking about that, and I wonder if that's also, again, it's stupid. This book set up so much stuff for a book that isn't out yet. But like, I wonder if it is just like, if it's a weird ploy, because the first time that Mr. Han comes to the practice room to tell Rachel she has a phone call, Mina's like, he knows my father. We know each other. Hey. And he like doesn't pay attention to her. So like, what if she took his watch and is trying to create scandal because she desperately needs her father's love? But I don't know.
She would do that.
Yeah.
That would fit.
I wrote down Kim Jong-kook just because that's who I pictured as soon as he was described as a Hemsworth type, because like that's the person I think of who is like the muscliest,
Yeah, he's
like
so beefy.
Korean celeb. But I love the Rain. I'm totally willing to say yes, Rain. It should be Rain.
Mino, I love you, but he's too young.
Yeah, he's too young.
He's too young, and I also was like, when people suggested this, I like thought about it, and I thought about Mino being the one being like, just keep your head up, kid, like whatever. And I was like, oh, it would melt my heart, but also I wouldn't believe him, and I like don't want him to. No. But it would endear me to the character a lot more, obviously. But Rain is a perfect choice.
All right, let's do it. Rain, you got the part. We already know he can act.
Congrats.
All right, we've got 2 more minor roles to fill. And the first one is the Cho twins. and a crazy amount of people were submitted, like really random people for the Cho twins. And I only chose 2 pairs to display because I think they're the ones that make the most sense. And the first and most popular, submitted a zillion times, is Chaeyeon and Chaeryeong from IZ*ONE and ITZY because they are sisters and they look the same. And the other submission is Gyuri from Promise 9 and Jisoo from Blackpink because they are not related at all, but they look like the same person.
They have the exact same face.
Isn't that
this
scary?
Side by side is shocking.
Yeah, they have the same face.
Yeah, I've never seen that. That's wild.
And Gyuri was on It's Okay to Not Be Okay and Dating Class or whatever. I like her as an actress. She's cute. But yeah, the ITZY IZ*ONE twins were the strongest contenders, unless anybody else has other suggestions.
Well, they're not actually twins.
That's true.
But I do like them as a suggestion. I like, as soon as I saw them as a suggestion, I was like, oh yes, that's perfect. I had been imagining this role being played Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap style with just
Lots of
one
people
person. And so for that, I chose Doyeon from Wikimiki because the twins are described as being insanely beautiful. And I thought that Doyeon would be able to pull off both the like makeup tutorial and the like nerdy engineer. I thought she would do really well in both of those roles, and I fucking love her face, so I would like to see it on TV.
It's hard to argue against that face.
Her face is so perfect.
It's insane. The pictures he uploads, she's just like looking to the side and she's absolutely fucking gorgeous.
Oh my god,
it's
it should be illegal to look so good. It should.
It's unfair.
What did other people have in mind for this role?
Anything?
I didn't have anyone for this role, but I really like Chaeyeon and Chaeryeong. I think they would be
I
really
didn't have
cute.
anyone either.
And Chaeryeong is like, she's like really fun, and she's got also like, she's a little bit like moody and sassy, and I can see her wanting to like do makeup stuff, and I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I love it.
I like them as
Great.
the Cho twins.
They're cast.
Great.
And the last slide that I have is for Jason's only friend, the only other named next boy. And this is Minjun. And we again got a lot of suggestions for this one. And I tried to pick stupid, silly pictures of all of them because Minjun is very clearly like the friend that
relief.
comes in to just be like, ugh, I'm hungry. So the choices that were named the most times were Jungkook from BTS and Lucas from NCT. Other suggestions: J-Hope, Ju Honey, Felix, Bowman from Golden Child, Johnny, Baekhyun, Sungkwan, Moonbin. What do you guys have for Minjun? Ju Honey was that's who I pictured.
We already casted him.
Did we?
Oh,
We
right.
already- with Wyatt.
Oh,
Wyatt.
yeah.
We said we
Wyatt.
wrote down that Wyatt was gonna be.
It was Wyatt.
It's Wyatt.
But
I stand by Wyatt.
oh man, so many. Lucas would be so fun in this part. Johnny, I
That's
imagined
true.
also in this part. I also imagined BM, but I feel like it would really depend on who we cast as Jason, because if we cast,
He's enormous.
I'm sorry, if we cast Eric, BM
Yeah.
would eat him alive.
Oh my
BM
god,
would look
standing
like-
next to BM, he would be like one of his arms.
He would like, BM could pick him up and put him down somewhere
But honestly,
else.
also Lucas.
But yes, also that
True,
is a good
Lucas
point.
is a big boy.
I also put down Chan from Stray Kids. He would be a fun friend.
Felix, I think, would be able to pull off the comedic relief as well. He seems like a goofy person. I had originally, because I was going off of like a 17 casting for Jason, and so I was thinking like, okay, who's 17 friends with? And so I picked I Am.
Oh.
because he's not really like funny, but I thought that he would be able to pull off the like.
If he uses his British accent, it will be funny automatically.
Yes, so he can use his British accent, and I thought he would be able to pull off the like wingman vibes that Minjun sort of has of like, you know, casually throwing out like, oh, I like this girl or whatever. I felt like he could deliver those lines and be like a devastatingly handsome side character.
Hell yeah.
But if we cast Eric from The Boys, I think I Am is like too old and too sultry to be next to Eric.
Yeah, I really do. I think Wyatt might be our best choice here because, like, I keep picturing Wyatt as like appearing at the party with his is that chicken, and like, oh, he would be like, I don't know, he seems like a Minjun type.
Yeah, he's so funny, and he has great expressions.
Oh yes, good face for background acting because he would be the one being like, because he doesn't get to talk that much.
I like it. I love that choice. All right, so we agree. Wyatt.
All
right. He's the Minjun to Eric's Jason. I love it.
Yeah. So those are all the named characters that I asked listeners to submit, but we also had like a bonus section where people could put in other characters. And like people had this is where a lot of the K-drama rec started coming in for like Rachel's mom or Jason's aunts. And like every single one of them seemed fine to me. Like, yes, those are good drama people. But a couple that I wanted to point out, and then if you guys have any, please feel free. But somebody suggested Eunji Won from Sex Skis to be Rachel's dad, and that made me laugh so hard because I know that he would be so offended to play somebody's dad in something, but he is 100% old enough to play somebody's dad in something, and I could see him as like boxing dad who's secretly going to law school, and I think it's good casting.
That's so cute.
And the other one that I loved and would totally go with our boys casting that we've started is the nerdy friend Daeho, who has a crush on the nerdy twin, Kevin Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's
man.
cute.
That's adorable. Oh, he'd love that too. Like, he'd love to act.
I know. And they'd put little glasses on him and pull his pants up too high, and it would be like, look at you, Kevin Moon.
Yeah, and Eric would be more comfortable, on set, having a friend there. That's important.
This is great.
I love it. I love that we're considering all aspects of our cast's comfort level.
It's very important.
It is important. We need to have good chemistry on camera.
Were there any other like side characters or other things that anybody had opinions about? Like, oh, another one that I had in my own mind was the friend that's introduced at school, or the girl at school who's like overly excited and trying to like be friends with all the other mean girls or whatever. I pictured her as Chu from Luna. I was like, only Chu can play this part. But I don't know if it's a big enough part to get a casting. But if it does, she has to have it.
They could give her lines.
We could flesh out the role.
Lines.
Because there was
cute.
potential there for that character. When that character was introduced, I thought we were going to get a storyline of like leaked photos from school. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so Rachel's starting to get more famous. And so then like this character is going to take like secret photos and like sell them or post them or whatever. I thought it was going to be like an extra layer of drama, and we never got there. But if we gave that role to someone with a name, then we could give her a little extra plot. Give ourselves a little extra plot. I didn't have any other ideas for. Oh no, wait. There was one that I just had in my brain. Oh, the woman who owns the secret celebrity club.
Yes.
I pictured as Jung-hwa. And that was the only other casting or only other character that I really had like a specific visual in mind for.
That would be
That
interesting.
works.
Mm-hmm. But, oh no, I feel like Hyori is too young. Lee Hyori.
Yeah.
She's too young.
Especially if, well, who did we cast for Eugene? Like,
Boa.
Boa.
Too young.
Yeah, so Hyori definitely can't be Hyori.
No, she can't be her mom.
She can't be her mom.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Jung-hwa, though, she would be old enough.
I think she's I mean, she's at least 50.
I was
so
gonna
like,
say,
she could
she's
be
gotta
a
be in her
young mother
50s.
of Boas.
Yeah.
But wasn't she a singer? So
Yes.
she wouldn't have to have her in like her 20s.
Yeah, she would have had
Maybe
to
I'm reading too much into it.
I know. I was thinking that too. I was like, she wouldn't have been able to have a kid like at the peak of her career and then still
But they
go
said
on
that
to
she
be this.
retired in the 80s. And I was born in the 80s, and so was Boa.
That's true.
So, like...
That's true. But is Jung-hwa old enough? Maybe then she's
I'm
too young.
Googling. I'm Googling.
I don't know.
Yeah, because Boa was
Jung-hwa.
born in like 86.
Uh-huh.
True.
So if she's 50, she would have
She's
been in her early
51.
20s. She would have been in her early 20s.
I think we could get away with it.
Yeah, we can get away
it's
with
Hollywood.
You can get away with it.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's
A little
totally-
makeup, a little dusting.
a little gray in the temples, perhaps like a
Yeah.
white streak in the bangs. Done.
Yeah. For sure.
Totally.
Yeah. I love it.
Well, guys, I'm very excited for this movie that we just made. And when the real movie comes out, it won't live up to this.
It'll
I'm
pale in
sure.
comparison.
To our casting.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is either way. I really do want this to be a movie because when it comes out, if they do it right, I will cry. Those kind of movies, they always get me if you just cast the right boy to like say the I'm sorry part in the way that makes my stomach drop, and then we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, and on top of it, if he sings and plays a nice tune on the guitar.
Yes, if they get good songs. If it is like High School Musical and we can get good songs in the Shine movie, then like it will mean something.
That would be key. But they have to make sure that they get like K-pop producers to make the soundtrack. Because if we get Western pop songs as the soundtrack to this movie, I will throw a shoe.
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, as the executive producers of this movie, we'll
right.
make sure that
We will
doesn't
make sure to
happen.
hire the best,
Yeah.
only the best K-pop producers.
Yeah, we're gonna leave the other ones off the email thread.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this movie, and I'm also excited for the opportunities that will come to these young actors / idols after when they're done. Like the way this will boost their popularity, their groups, they'll form friendships on set. Nothing
Oh my
like
god, yes.
a friendship.
Maybe we'll even get a real love connection out of this. Lives
OMG gas.
lives are going to be changed here, ladies. We're doing good work.
This was so much fun. Thank you both so much for coming on the show. Alexis, will you start and tell our listeners where they can find you if you want to be found by them?
Yes, and plug anything you'd like.
Yeah, well, you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at HOE_DOYAN. And I am working on a podcast. So that's going to be coming up soon, I hope.
Ooh, exclusive.
Exciting.
Can we get a little sneak peek? What is this podcast going to be about? An
About
inside
fandom.
scoop?
K-pop fandom. It's going to be exclusively about fandom. So kind of a reported pod kind of thing. So anyway, can't
Exciting.
say too much. But
awesome.
I will let you know when that actually drops.
Amazing.
But yeah, follow me. I'm kind of funny.
And follow for more information about this upcoming informative podcast on K-pop fandom.
That too.
I love
That
it.
Yeah.
Natalie, where can we find you and what will you plug?
You can find me on every social media platform at NB Morin. I write for Refinery 29, so you can find all sorts of goodies that I've written about K-pop and beyond there. I also sometimes contribute for Ear Milk if I'm feeling some type of way. So you can also find me there. And yeah, always accepting chats and DMs about all sorts of topics, crop tops, mullets, and scandals and things that make you happy. That's all that I care to talk about.
I love it.
I love it.
It's why you fit right in here.
Your article earlier this year about androgyny and boys in makeup like changed my life, and I passive aggressively sent it to a coworker who always gives me shit about boys wearing jewelry, and it was nice.
That's literally all I want to hear. I just want my pieces to be sent passively aggressively to people so that their outlooks are perhaps influenced, maybe changed.
I love
But
it.
thank you.
Well,
That's
thank
very
you
sweet.
again, both of you, for giving us so much of your time. We had too much fun talking about all this book. Clearly could have talked for a whole other hour. But thank you for taking time.
And we'll have to have you back again soon.
Please, thank you. This was so fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, that was so fun. I love spending time with friends that I miss.
I know. And I was just thinking recently about KCON. I was like lamenting the fact that we didn't get a KCON this
I
year.
know.
Because last year, like, we did finally get to meet our like journalist friends that we'd only ever talked to online. We got to meet them in person, and it was so wonderful. And so even though we didn't get to see them in person today, it was still lovely to connect from afar.
And see some faces. So yes, please follow Natalie and Alexis. They both write great things and get cool access to K-pop groups that we do not. So like, yeah, boots on the
And
ground.
both of them are AMAK approved K-pop news and where to find it.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you, a sincere thank you to all of the guests that we've had for our book club series, and to all of you who bought or otherwise got a hold of Shine in order to read it along with us. I really do hope that we made it worth your while. I certainly feel like the $22 I spent on this book, like, I think I got enough out of it for the, like, yeah.
I think it paid for itself eventually, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that was a really good time. I can't wait to do it again. Everyone keeps telling us that our Instagram follower, Alex, formerly of Rania, is writing a book based on her experiences. So if and when that ever comes out, book club round 2, and we'll see
Yeah.
what Alex has to say.
Very interested to see what that book will bring, and very excited for this new podcast segment that we have. You know, we've got our recurring movie club. Now we've got our book club.
Yeah, we're all gonna get cultured together and consume all the K-pop media that we can find in whatever way we can find it. So yeah, thank you. That was a really good time. And November is about to be over, so that means we are moving into Ask Me About K-pop end of the year special episode time.
Yes, it's coming down to the wire. Can't even believe it's almost going to be December. And we have, similarly to this book club, already started planning a multitude of content to go with the multitude of content that came out this year. So stay tuned for several end of the year wrap-up episodes coming soon.
Yeah. And in the meantime, you can follow us on social media at AMAKPopPod. You can send emails to amakpoppod@gmail.com. And just a thank you to everybody who sent a separate email along with their suggestions to explain their choices. I loved reading your justifications. Y'all are the best. Another place where people are great is in the Discord. You can find the link to that on our link tree in all of our social media stuff. Another thing that the Discord people did for casting is they did casts based solely on companies. So they did an SM cast and a JYP cast and a YG cast. It was really fun. You can go see all that in the Shine Book Club channel. We have so many channels. People are talking all day, every day. Go join the Discord. It's fun.
Yes, and don't let it feel overwhelming to you. It's very easily curated. Like, if you only ever want to talk about Shiny, you only ever have to live in the Shiny
Yeah, you
chat
can
room.
mute all the other
So,
channels. No one will judge you. It's totally fine.
It is a place of no judgments.
That's true. There's even a safe space channel where people talk about tough real life stuff. I'm telling you, it's a good Discord.
Yeah. Yes, there's a safe space and a difficult conversations
Yeah.
channel.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love our listeners. Also, you can give us a call, 181 AMA K-pop 5.
You can send us a letter, P.O. Box 26096, Los Angeles, California 90026.
And we have a YouTube channel.
We have a Spotify account where you can not only listen to our episodes on Spotify, but we also have a user profile that has playlists to match the episodes. I think they're a little behind, but hey, maybe that it's a vacation week for me. I can catch up.
Yeah. And
Let's find out.
yeah, and make sure you're following that one because I'm sure for best of end of years, we'll be making more playlists to keep
Yes,
you.
we'll have lots of playlists for the end of the year for
sure. Yeah, thanks again for book club. It was a really good time, guys, and I'm really looking forward to talking about all of the good things that we had in 2020 that came to us in the form of K-pop, because there wasn't a lot, but there was a lot of K-pop, and so we got that.
Yes. There may not have been a lot of good in the world, but there was a lot of good K-pop. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah. So come back next week, and we love you guys. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.